Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think I need another earphone because I'm hearing this tapping noise in my ear. Are you hearing that?
No.
Okay. We're not recording on. Oh,
We definitely are.
hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, boo.
How are you?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
Eventful. There was a lot going on, but I'm sure I'm sounding like my life is popping on this podcast, and I'm sure the listeners think that my life is lit, but it is not. But I
I mean, you was
did
out in these streets this weekend, and you're going to be out this next weekend. So, I mean, what's
look,
the tea?
look. It sounds like I'm having a lot more fun in my life than it. I think y'all just catching me on some good weekends.
I mean, it's every week, so.
Don't do it.
Living your best life.
No, I was in the house all summer, and I'm starting to live my best life in the fall. Like, I mean, what in
We
the world?
failed this summer.
We were total failures when it came to like our plans for the summer, and yeah, we was
We was
chilling,
talking
super
cash
happy.
money shit, how we was just going to be out here in these streets. Just, we didn't do nothing.
Nothing, not a daggone thing. We sat around and chilled. We drank,
Yeah.
but we chilled.
I went out of town for work this summer.
Yes, and that was lit.
Oh,
No,
okay.
okay. Yikes. Pew, pew, Lord, how they gonna die. Well, I went out of town too. We both went out of town for work.
Well,
And
boom,
there it
bam.
is. That
So
was the
then,
highlight of our summer.
and
That's so
so now
sad.
you're playing catch up, and you've been out every weekend.
For the past couple of weekends, but it's not every weekend. After next weekend, I'm not going nowhere.
Okay, girl.
I didn't really even go out anywhere. Like, I literally was at a friend's house and we watched the fight. That's it.
And I'm sure it was drink. It was like a fight party, not just like a fight.
Yeah. And you know how we do. We playing games and stuff like that. So, because the fight
I
was,
didn't even know there was a fight until somebody posted that they were at a fight party, and I was like, As I sit here and watch my stolen movies on Cody, because that's all I did.
Yeah, I had no
In
clue
light
about it.
in light of our last episode,
Mm-hmm.
I have decided that I will not be drinking on any day other than Saturday. I will not be eating poorly any day other than Saturday. So this past weekend, I killed that big old bottle that you saw because
That's
I
gonna
had to
be
get
it.
it in.
So wait a minute, you didn't even say Friday and Saturday. You literally just
No,
said Saturday.
just Saturday.
Really? You're
Yeah.
sticking by that?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna work on that this weekend. All right.
I ain't coming on Friday
Why not?
because of pressure. See you Saturday,
So
bitch.
you're gonna limit your time with your friend because
Yes.
you don't want to. Don't do that. First of all, don't make me seem like the liquor. We not going down this road. We not. Our
Yeah, we
listeners,
haven't even introduced ourselves.
look. I am Dice and I'm an angel. Okay.
And I am Shay, and I am shady.
At least somebody's being honest.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Chatty Pattys. We are on
Yes.
episode 7.
7.
Lucky number 7. So this week we are going to chop it up about bills.
Insert Destiny's Child, 1999, Bills, Bills, Bills.
For sure. Can you pay my... Yeah, I'm not a singer, so I won't. Y'all not going to come for me.
With the original Destiny's Child.
Oh, yes. With the original cast.
Yes.
So we're going to discuss pretty much what are the rules of engagement when it comes to couples addressing paying bills. We know everybody's different. Everybody's preference is different. So just being around friends of engaged, dating, and married couples, I've heard so many different ways that people deal with bills, accounts, all of that stuff. So that's what we're gonna talk about. And yeah.
Do you want to start with the meme or?
Yeah, so I've seen a whole bunch of memes. I'm not sure which one you talking about, but I've seen plenty of memes going in on the whole situation about, what a man's role should be, in a relationship. Like, I seen one where it was like, ladies, if your man is living in your house and you pay all the bills, you're really a lesbian because you're dating a bitch.
No,
Definitely seen
I've
that.
seen that.
Yes. And what did I say? Oh, it said broke niggas see it as tricking. Grown men see it as providing. So I mean,
I was talking about the one where it's like if you pay half the rent, you got a roommate, not a man, or something like
oh,
that.
I did see that. I did see something
Yeah,
like that. It was like yeah, pretty much your significant other, if y'all splitting the bills half and half, you got a roommate. I did see something like that. Like, I've seen so many different posts about it. Like, I have friends that are literally adamant about you should not split bills evenly with your husband. Like, it's just a no. It's just something that you don't do. I have friends that are just like, we splitting this shit half and half. It is what it is. So I just feel like it would be a really interesting topic to see, what everybody's take is on that. So I know that it is, well, I want to speak more to married couples because I don't think dating folks, I mean, well, if you live together, you are splitting bills, I guess. So I'm not going to just limit it to married folks. So married, engaged, and seriously dating, and y'all live together, because that's the only reason why you will be splitting some bills with somebody that you're dating.
because if
But
you just dating a regular nigga, y'all should
uh,
not be splitting anything.
not,
Okay,
not at all.
the fuck.
Not at all. So I was looking at it as like pretty much three main things that I've seen out there in my experience with talking to people as well as looking online, that there's three different things, three different ways that people handle paying the bills. There's a joint account where checks are deposited in this account, and I mean like direct deposit, like both of y'all salary or whatever that y'all got coming in, the direct deposit goes to this joint account, and you use that to pay the bills as well as any leisurely stuff. So like if you're going out to eat with your girls, like basically they both have a card to the same account, but you pay the bills and do all your other stuff. There's visibility of everything, all purchases in this one joint account. Then you have where it's separate accounts, where both parties have their own individual accounts, no access to each other accounts, and you might have it where this person pays this person pays this bill, or what have you. And then you have like a hybrid where it's kind of both, where you might have like one joint account that you pay the bills out of, but then you have your own individual accounts. So that's kind of the three main, and it might be like in onesie twosies or like deviations of that, but those are like the three main ways that I see that couples have been addressing bills and paying them.
So are we being, super open, full disclosure, or we keeping it cute? What are we doing?
I mean, full disclosure, I mean, we talking
Okay.
about bills, we gonna keep it real for the listeners.
Well, how do you and B Dub handle your bills?
So we are more of a hybrid. We actually have a joint account, a joint checking account, and we have our separate accounts as well. And what we do is, we are one of those, if you want to call us roommates, then boo boo, I guess we married roommates, because we split all of the household bills in half. So what I mean by household bills is like the mortgage, electric, water, cable, insurance, that sort of thing. Everything, we split that in half, and then we put our half into this joint account, and we pay our bills out of our monthly bills out of that account. But we do have separate accounts because we discussed this in marriage counseling, or premarital counseling, not marriage counseling, premarital counseling, when we were engaged about to get married, on how we wanted to address certain things. I was older and I was coming into this marriage with some debt already. So I just felt that it's not fair for me to put my debt on you and expect you to pay half of my goddamn bills from when I was wilding. And I don't feel like I should pay half of your bills from when you was wilding before we came into this marriage. So then we have our separate bills, what would be like non-household bills. And that could be like student loans, car notes, if you have any little individual credit cards, if you had a job, you had to clean up your credit, stuff that was on there for some years that you got to clean up. Those are the things that we kind of take care of our own. That's our own separate bills. So we're more of a hybrid over on this here side. What do you do?
So when JT and I first, when we first got married, because I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast with him,
Mm-hmm.
he said he was going to handle everything.
Uh-huh.
That didn't go so well. So, we he's in the military, so he gets a housing allowance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he took care of that, and then everything else we actually no. In the beginning, we kind of just the housing stuff he took care of, and then we just kind of took care of our own bills. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
but none of that was working. So we started listening to Dave Ramsey, who like I don't know. I follow all these groups on Facebook or whatever
Mm-hmm.
because he's all about just like becoming debt free and having like having your money in your pocket as
Right.
opposed to paying, spending it on bills or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, and I still have a notebook where I basically wrote all of our bills down, like what we owe, who we owe it to, how long we've been paying it, how much longer we have to go, if it was like some kind of debt or broke down the interest rate or whatever. And so basically, we went out and we got a joint checking account, and we had our money going into the joint checking account for our bills, similar to what you were saying you and B Dub do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had our separate accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So now in this new marriage, to the same person, for the listeners who don't understand, we had a
Same
little,
man.
yeah, same man, but new marriage, new us, new
Right.
year, new us. So in our new marriage, we're actually going to put all of our money in one pot. And the reason being is because we always feel like we're broke, but we
Yeah.
make really good money. And so it doesn't really make any sense. And
Right.
so I wrote down all of our monthly bills, all of our debts or whatever, totaled those up, and then compare what we bring in every month. And it was like, and I think we have a lot of extra, we in debt, we broke.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I added all that up, and I looked at like how much we bring in, I was just like, there's no reason why we should be hurting like this.
Yeah.
So for me, my goal is like, I'm aggressive with this debt shit. And so like, I want all of our money in the pot because I want to know, like, if you spending money on this Pepsi, because I feel like that money that you spent on that Pepsi could be going towards this debt.
Right.
Because when I subtract the debt that we have, and I'm like, that's money that could be in our pockets right now. Like a bitch will be on all the trips right now,
Right. This
but
wouldn't have
we
been a lit summer.
right. And so had me and him never got separated, we would have been out of debt right now because even before when we were doing the bills the way we were doing it,
Mm-hmm.
I had a like aggressive plan. And so I was telling him, I was like, well, since we had a setback, like I want to be even more aggressive. So that's why I said this go round, we're actually just putting everything in a pot. We're going to have a little allowance to take, to our accounts. Like for
Mm-hmm.
me, my parents always told me, you always say something, you can love your spouse to the day y'all die, but
But you
you
still gotta
always,
have a little of your own.
you know what I mean? So
Right.
of course we're going to have like an allowance, but it's not going to be like how it was before, where basically we were putting like maybe $100 more than what our monthly bills totaled up to, just as like a cushion, and
Mm-hmm.
everything else went to us separately. So whatever it is that we were doing with that money,
It was
it was
on
our
you.
business.
Right.
But I just feel like if we're serious, like we're trying to buy a house, then I need to know, how many gummy bears did you eat this week?
Oh my goodness. It's funny because I had a coworker that, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I had a coworker and we were sitting around talking, and it was, well, actually it was three of us, and all three of us at the time, one was married for a while, but the other two, we were like newlyweds. And after the conversation, I realized sometimes it might be a cultural thing, because one of the people was white and was like, yeah, like you said, we're trying to buy this house. So like, I got to cut down on the going out to lunch all the time. And we just like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Like, we get it. You got to save up. And then one day, one of our favorite food trucks was popping. We was like, yo, we going. And he was basically like, nah, I can't, because once she see that I didn't got the food truck, like, I don't want to have to hear it when I get home. And I was like, what you mean when
Nigga,
she
how
see?
many gummy bears you
Right.
been eating?
I was like, what you mean see? And he was like, I mean, we have the same account. Like, we have a joint account. I said, so all of y'all money is in that account? And he was looking at me like it was like the dumbest question in the world. And he was like, I mean, you don't? And me and my other black friend, it was like in unison. We was like, hell no. And he just died laughing. And he was like, I mean, is this like a black thing? Or like, because it's kind of normal in my circles that I was like, look, dog, I don't know about you, player, but.
You think so? You think it's a black white thing? Because I know more black people that put all their money in a pot than. Well, I mean, I don't have a ton of white friends either, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know a lot of black people that put all their money together. Maybe it just depends on who we know. Cause I don't, or maybe we just not talking finances deeply with our friends.
Maybe that's it. I know the first time I heard about a couple doing that, I was thotting and bopping, super single, so I did not get it. And I, like, no lie, I remember we went out and she was like, yeah, I think at the time he was still her fiance, but she was like, such and such said I could only spend $50. And I was like, bitch, what? Like,
You didn't get your paycheck?
I was like, you make more money than him. How he gonna regulate what you spend? Fuck out of here. And like even called her. I don't know if it was that particular time, but I know one time we went out, he definitely called and was like, all right, bitch,
You doing too much.
You drinking a little bit too much. Like, and at the time I just felt like that was so like
Micromanaging.
yes, I was like, he's controlling. You got me fucked up. It couldn't be me. This my money. I work hard for it. But now that I'm married and I'm like, if y'all have a common goal, I can get it. And it doesn't even like, I don't know if I don't plan on doing this one pot thing forever. I don't foresee that happening.
Right.
But we have a common goal. So like, I just feel like for this goal, this makes the most sense because my thinking was just like we did so much, we accomplished so much when we were only putting like a set amount together and
So
joining
imagine how
forces.
much you could do. Putting all
Exactly.
of it. Yeah. And I agree with it like that. Like, if it's for a reason, it's a plan. But like in my mind, and maybe it's just the whole controlling thing, I just and I just don't see it. Like, let's put all our money in here, and then like you don't need to know that I went to Wendy's on Wednesday and then I turned around and went to
Yes.
Chipotle on Thursday. Like, I don't
Yes.
need your judgment. Let me sneak like the last time. Don't come in my comments and don't come in my bank account asking me why. And yes, that is why I'm still fluffy, but don't judge me. I have to deal with these daggone people at my job for 40 plus hours a week. Let me treat myself to some Chipotle without some judgment. But like in the beginning, like I said, when I was going through the premarital counseling, I was just like, no, we're going to do this. Like, we can pay our joint bills together, like whatever debts that we incur together, then we're going to split them 50-50. Whatever we brought into this joint, then you not on your own, but like, you know what I'm saying? You going to handle that, blah, blah. And it's always exceptions. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's certain times, like maybe if something comes up and like I can't handle it, it's not like my husband is going to be like, oh, that's your bill, bitch. Guess you short. Guess
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll jump in and like move money around or whatever we need to do to make it work. But the overarching structure of how we pay bills, like that's pretty much how it goes. But maybe the thing is, and like I just didn't even really think about it until we were saying it, is like maybe we don't go that deep into talking finance with friends, because I can count on one hand how many friends I've had deep conversations about finances. And I don't know if it's a shame thing, because like not everybody has the best credit. Maybe people got bills that they don't want to talk about. Like, I
Right.
mean, I know I kind of felt a little bit of anxiety when we came upon that session about finances and pre-counseling, because I was like, look, I don't want him to call off this engagement when I let when I let this man know about this debt that I got in his back pocket over here.
You ain't
So
had no 420 credit score like Easter, right?
look, I don't know. I might have been tap dancing around. It's like, no, it wasn't that low, but
I was
it
about
was
to
just
say,
like
cut it out.
it was just like the most because like in college, like I just incurred a lot of debt. Then like it was just I'm not putting all my financial business out there because if I wasn't talking to my friends about it, I'm not talking to you listeners out there about my damn finances. My friends go like, "Oh really? Oh really?" But yeah, I just
I think
maybe it's
that's
an uncomfortable
another problem,
conversation.
though.
Hmm.
Like, I think more people should be talking about their finances because
We can share
you
some
talk,
information.
right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this girl on Facebook. We were supposed to go out of town one year. Anywho, I know she's doing like a budget page or whatever now because her and her now husband they got
Hmm.
out of like a ton of debt. I don't really know the specifics on how they did it, and don't get me wrong, they don't have kids. They live in an area where the cost of living is much cheaper,
Right.
but I I don't know. I feel like they joined forces based off of the little things I said about like their budget and when they're looking at it or whatever, whatever. And then I know my supervisor, he says that him and his wife, they also have their joint account where basically they put like 80 or 90% of their income into that check, and then whatever is remaining is what they put in their personal, and then that's like you can't ask me no questions. But even with the bulk of their income going in that joint account, he was saying like, when we do things together, obviously it's going
Hmm.
to come out the joint account. That's what
Right.
it's there for. um I don't know, I see the benefit in it as well when you think about like, remember when you only were getting paid like on a certain time of the month? Like,
Hmm.
wasn't it like once a month or whatever?
Yeah, so I went through two different phases. Like it was one time where I was getting paid twice a month, and then this other time where I was getting paid once a month. In the beginning, like the thought about it stressed me the hell out. I was just like, yo, I legit don't know how I'm gonna do it. But afterwards, I actually loved it. Like I can't even front. It's like you literally have all your money right here for the month. Like your
Hmm.
check that came in. You can get all them bills up out of here and like literally this money that you have, you can split up what you put in your savings and what you got to
Right.
play around with. And that's it. It's no, oh dang, I done spent too much. No, you done already canceled out and got all that bill money out. You done already put your little cushion in your savings or wherever you put it. And then the rest is like, all right, now if I blow through this in 2 weeks, it's your
Right. You
fault.
short. Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
So you might want to like even break it down a little bit more and just like kind of split that remaining money up and be like, all right, I'm only going to spend this much this week, so to make it last. But yeah, I actually liked it a lot more because sometimes when you get paid every 2 weeks, and this is just I'm just speaking for me, my listeners might not agree, but like if you get paid every or twice, not every 2 weeks, you might get paid every 2 weeks or twice a month depending on your job or whatever in the pay schedule. Like it's like you tend to spend a little bit more because you're like, well, I'm gonna get paid in 2 weeks, so like I mean I'm gonna go ahead and then borrow from this and then I can just take it from this. It's like
Right.
I know for me personally, I find myself like borrowing and taking more when I got paid more frequently, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had it where I only got paid once a month, so I don't know. It sounds like it would stress me out. Like, I get paid every other week, so I know that's like a consistent thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
What I did hate was when I think I was like 22. I was getting paid like on the 7th and the 22nd, and I felt like those were some odd ass
That's some
days.
random
Yes,
days.
it was like, and I was 22, so I didn't have no kind of saving skills.
Right.
It was like I got to pay my rent, so I got to make sure that I save it from the check on the 22nd. But the 22nd to the first is mad fucking long, and
Right.
like you know what I'm saying. But if I wait until the 7th, then technically I'm late, and then I got to pay a late fee, and it just stressed me out. And
Yeah.
so like with JT gets paid on certain days of the month. And so when we were combining forces during our first marriage, he was like stressed out because he's like, well, I only get paid on these days, but these bills are due on this day. And it was just like, well, if we have this joint account, there's always money in that account
Right.
because it always worked out where basically I got paid on the weeks that he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So we
So
were
that was
always
perfect.
covered. Yeah, we were always covered no matter when the due date was. And honestly, like he's said it a million times, like it was so stress free. Like the first month, maybe the first 2 months, we were just trying to like get the budget together or whatever and make sure we had everything and there were no surprises.
Mm-hmm.
But once we got that shit mapped out, it was just I never worried about bills. It was I put everything on auto pay and it was just like, okay, well,
Ooh, I
yeah.
look, auto pay stresses me out. I don't think in my life, unless it was mandatory, have I ever had a bill on auto pay. And I think that just comes from them times where I was struggling to like, like to figure out, all right, I might have to pay this joint a couple days late because something else came up. Like auto pay stresses me out because if I'm like, all right, this joint gives me like a little 3 day window, but something comes up and it had already took that money out and I could have waited 3 days to use that money. Like auto pay, for sure. That stresses me the hell out. Like,
I love auto pay. I
mm-mm.
really do. Like when shit is working the way it's supposed to work, I don't like honestly when JT and I split up, it stressed me out more to have to be like, all right, so I'm gonna split my check up like this. So I'm gonna do this for my bills. I'm gonna do this for me and my for our fun, and then this is for savings. And it was just like every month, because you know certain bills they fluctuate, like your electricity or whatever,
Right.
or water and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me, you know what I mean? It just kind
Right.
of stressed me out as opposed to when I just knew there was always money in this account. I knew that we put enough in there so that there was a cushion. So if things kind of went a little higher,
It will
um,
cover it.
yeah, and not even just that, but if bills were lower, we never took from that account. So
Mm,
stuff was building up. Like if we had one, let's say we didn't spend any of that $100 2 months in a row, that means by month three we got an extra $200 in there. So it was
it was lit.
effortless. And
Right.
so this go round, like I said, we're putting everything in one pot. Then he's actually going on a deployment in 7 months, and he'll be gone for 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
So he ain't gonna be doing shit. He gonna be on a boat. What the fuck he need money for? So that you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that little allowance that he was getting to live here and do things, he ain't
Right.
even gonna need that. Plus, on top
Yeah.
of that, he's gonna be getting like separation pay, and he'll probably be in some tax free zones.
More money,
So,
more money, more
yeah.
money.
And so I have, because I'm very like, I'm the one that handles the money in the household.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a spreadsheet that has like our monthly bills on there. And then I also have like our debt. And so basically it's a debt calculator like, okay, if we pay this will be wiped out in X amount of months. And girl, I'm trying to tell you, there's like a snowball effect and the avalanche effect and all this other stuff. And it makes me excited to
Yes.
talk about it.
That's exciting though. Like I I think sometimes it might even bring up, and depend on the situation, that it could bring up animosity though. Like when you combining, like, okay, we just gonna have this joint account and from this joint account we gonna pay the bills. So say one of the spouses makes 100,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
but their spouse only make 40. So it's like, yeah, you combining your money, but like, does animosity come? Because like, not a lot of us, but some of us, like, we're, it's not the same, your spouse don't make exactly the same, but it's like, yeah, give or take or whatever, but you're around that same, you know salary depending on what you do. But what happens when like it's a crazy difference in like
You're
your
not putting
income?
everything in one pot. You're just doing it according to the bills.
No, so I'm talking about like if you're doing like everything in one pot. So, and you throw everything in there, like, does the person that's making 100 like have like some kind of feelings like, damn, like literally all my damn money because you ain't making nothing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, because me and my husband are kind of around, floating around the same area, so we don't really have those issues. But I
Yeah,
don't,
I was gonna say I don't know because JT and I we're kind of around the
around the
same,
same.
and I know, like when we weren't splitting the whole thing by when we weren't putting everything in one pot, because his because he has the basic housing allowance, that like rent was already taken care of. So when we were talking about our monthly bills, I put more into the pot just based off of that alone, because I'm
Mm,
like, well, technically he's already taking care of the house, so
right, because it's coming
I'm,
out as pay.
you know what I mean? So I didn't expect for him to pay for the house and then put 50-50 amount of money in the joint account, if that makes sense.
Right. So we got a or yeah, anyway, we got a friend, and basically they were like, it's a similar situation, or I don't know how it is now, but it was a similar situation where one was making more than the other, and they didn't do the split like the 50-50. They would just assign certain bills to pay. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, okay, well, obviously I'm going to pay like the bigger bills like X, Y, and Z, and then you'll handle JKL, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it worked for them. And that's another thing, a disclaimer that I did not say. This is not judging. Whatever works for you, works for you. We're just explaining what we do, what we've seen done, and just different options. And maybe we can spark, maybe it'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll try that. You know, in my relationship, I did look at this article online from Financial Post where it actually asks the question straight out like, should you split your bills 50-50 with your spouse or not? And they actually were against it. They were saying, no, you shouldn't split it 50-50. It makes sense basically to map out a kind of budget, and you can do one or two things. Similar to what I was saying with the other friend did, like you say who's going to pay what. So you're going to handle cable, you're going to handle mortgage, you're going to handle X, Y, and Z depending on what the income is. Or another option is that you have the bill split based on income. So, an example is if a spouse brings in 70% of the household income, then you are going to contribute 70% of the total bills, if that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense because obviously, like, if you like the example you use, if someone is making 100,000 and somebody else is making 40,
Right.
like the person that's making 40 is gonna feel some kind of way if there's like a set number, a
Dog,
dollar
and they gonna
amount.
be broke all the damn
Right.
time. I mean, granted, like you're married, so like I hope you're not letting your spouse be broke out here and they putting their whole check into the bills and they don't have no, that's what I'm saying. It depends on your situation, your financial, where you at to see what works for you. It's a little bit easier when like you're around the same salary range ish. So it makes it a little bit easier. But like you have those situations where like it's you could have somebody making 200,000 and they sugar daddy like, baby, you ain't gotta work. You good, your little check, like go ahead and go shopping.
But I guess that's why I'm confused with like, so if you're splitting the monthly bills, but your like personal bills are your own,
Mm-hmm.
it could still end up being that way
Oh,
where
for
one
sure.
person resents the other. Because if
Oh,
I
yeah.
have more debt than JT, or JT has more debt than me, and we're splitting the monthly bills and then saying, oh, well, do you boo? Like at the end of the day, you may still end up with nothing.
For
Because
sure.
if you got a whole bunch of debt and you paying 50-50 on the bills, but that's how y'all arrangement is. Like,
Right.
I don't, I personally, I'm saying I don't see how it's beneficial. Like you said earlier, everybody does what works for them.
Right.
But in my mind, it doesn't make, like, I get the whole your debt is your debt thing,
Right.
but I also feel like if you're married, like, y'all debt is y'all debt. Because at the end of
Mm.
the day, if my husband has $1,000 worth of debt and he's paying that on his own, and I'm over here chilling, I could be helping him get rid of that debt, so then we both have more money, like, as a family. Because again, I'm just all about these trips, so
Right.
I don't want to be debt free, and then my husband still be trying to claw his way out of like student loan debt 5, 10, 25, 50 years from now.
Right. No,
You
I
know what I
get it.
mean?
No, that makes sense. But I think in our situation, because that's what we do, like we both have a gang of our own individual debt as well. So like we have our student loans. Like, we both got credit cards. Like, we both have cars, so that's car notes. Even though it might not be the same amount for the car notes or whatever, but I mean, hey, I ain't trying to sound cutthroat, but it's like, but at the same time, we don't leave each other hanging. So like, if something was to happen where I'm just like, bruh, I got $20 for the rest of the month, it ain't like he gonna be like, well, that's your debt, and it is what it is. Like, we still work together. That's just the framework of like how we go into addressing bills per se, and it works. Like, as long as we on the up and up and we don't do too much of it, being extra, whatever, like, it works. But I just don't, for me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable being like, you trying get down to help me pay some of these student loans, or how about this credit card when I was single and wild, and like, you gonna help me, you gonna put something on that. I just don't feel, I don't think I could do that, and I definitely would be feeling a certain kind of way, the opposite way, paying your debt. Like, oh, so this was when you was 21 and you was charging all the bottles of Henny when you wanted to look cool. Like, I don't know. And like I said, if it works for me, that's fine. If it don't work for other people, that's cool. But at least we putting options out there to see,
Right.
what are the different options.
So on Real Housewives of Potomac,
Mm-hmm.
you still ain't caught up.
I know. Put me out there. Put me out there.
But there's this older couple, and in all the previous seasons, the wife, her name is Karen,
Mm-hmm.
Karen Huger or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She kept saying that her husband was the Black Bill Gates of Potomac and all this other shit. Why this season open up and the Black Bill Gates black ass owe taxes, like lots and lots of taxes.
Is this a wealthy
So
people thing? Because I swear people with money just forget that you got to pay taxes or something. Because I swear all these wealthy people be owing taxes.
I don't know. But the crazy thing was when people were asking her, like, well, what's going on? Like, I don't understand. You said he was the Black Bill Gates. What happened to the money? Why you're not paying taxes? Karen was like, I don't know. His money is his money, and my money is my money. I'm very rich.
Oh,
And then proceeded to go out and she bought like a Maserati or something, I guess, to
damn.
show everybody that she was like that bitch. And for me, I was just like, I get it. Like, she probably does have her own money. But at
Right.
the same time, I'm like, so your husband is like,
It's like the
and,
optics. Like, he out here like drowning in IRS debt, and
and
you
you
out here
got a
buying brand new
Maserati?
cars. Right.
Like,
That's
for
just
me,
childish and petty. And then it's for show. So it's just like, just to show y'all niggas that I'm still out here. Like, let me buy this Maserati. Like, that's kind of ignorant.
and not just that, like, I don't know when's the last time she had a real job outside of this Bravo shit.
So how she
So
getting
it's
money?
from him. I'm sure he was giving her money and she probably just been stashing it.
Oh,
But it's just like, so for you to sit there and then on top of that be like, oh,
that ain't
I'm
even
rich.
y'all.
It's
Like, that's his money, babe. I mean, you married. I gotta stop saying that. But like,
I mean,
bruh,
and
like,
they've been married for like decades. So I'm like, it's their money. I get it. But
right.
it's
But
just
that is
at the
kind of
same
petty.
time, it's like fucked up that if you had the money to help your husband, that you didn't. Like,
Yeah.
that's the IRS is nobody to play with. This ain't
No.
like the fucking hospital bill from 10 years ago that you could just change your voice when they call. Like, this the
Right.
IRS.
Like, we
Like,
know we coming to get you. We following you. Yeah, we see
yeah.
you going to the club. Yes, we'll be right there.
On Married to Medicine, I know
Toya
you. Yep,
and Dr.
Toya Eugene.
Eugene,
Same
honey,
thing.
dog, they owe the IRS like 170,000 on
Yep.
back taxes, and like, literally, this man had to pick up more shifts at the hospital because Toya don't work. She's a stay-at-home mom. So he's like pretty much the provider or the breadwinner, or so he had to pick up. But I think she does have a couple of her own. Like, she's an entrepreneur. I think she has like a couple of business. So I'm not gonna little her and say she don't work.
What are they?
I don't know, bruh,
I
but
need
I
seats.
look. All right, let me keep on talking about Dr. Eugene then. Because he was like working like a dog, bro. Like, he was commuting somewhere far, and was he only coming home on the weekends or something, because he was picking up all these different shifts at this other hospital. Like,
I don't even
the
know.
man sold his car and downgraded to a less luxury car. Toya was like, "Nah, I'm keeping mine," and she was like, "That's fine." But like, eventually they paid it all off. But then they end up throwing this expensive ass party to celebrate it, which they got shaded for, of course. But he pretty much was the one who handled the finances, and she just spent money like, hey.
And that is another thing that I was going to point out. Like, she seems a lot more supportive this season now that they're out of debt, and she's
Mm-hmm.
like trying to stick to whatever their budget is. But the first two seasons, they were living and renting out that big ass house.
Dog, that was a
And
museum, my G. That
yes,
joint was huge.
and Eugene kept saying, "This is our biggest bill. This is it." And it's like, if she would have listened, then maybe they wouldn't have been as much trouble they were in. But she wanted
Mm-hmm.
to keep up appearances
So, and them
and make
parties
this.
that she would throw,
Mm-hmm.
you know, them things was expensive as heck. So, like, that was just more and more money eaten away from. They could have been putting that towards that and never been in a situation where, like, it was a lump sum. Like, give me my bread. What you
Yeah.
doing?
So
Or even, it's not in the millions or nothing. But like Melody on Black Ink Crew, her and her husband, it wasn't her husband. She owed the IRS
right.
$30,000 or whatever, and they end up moving in a little RV to save money. It was like, look,
But that was good. Like, he was like, "All right, we're gonna figure out how to do this." Like, so
mm-hmm,
he subleased their apartment, and they
mm-hmm,
moved in that little thing for however long, and
and they got it going.
they
They
got
got it.
out of debt in like a few months.
Yeah, they definitely knocked that out. I wonder in situations like, I don't know, like how many of us would be that supportive to be like, uh, so look, we're gonna have to move into a RV, and we're going to do this for like a year or so.
I would.
For real?
I do not like being in debt. I think because I was in so much debt when I was like in my early 20s, that I just
Right.
really don't like it. And if it's like, at the end of the day, if it's going to help us in the long run, then I would do what I have to do. Like, I could sacrifice a year to be completely debt free. The
Right.
IRS will garnish your fucking checks.
Oh,
Like
for
I said,
sure.
it's not like fucking the fucking credit
Like you owe
card you owe.
Sprint. Right.
Yeah, it's not like that. Like,
Right.
sure, that should have fucked up your credit. You could fix your credit. IRS coming to snatch your shit is totally different. And if you got a security clearance, bitch, that's not it.
Where's that?
So I could live. First of all, I want a tiny house too. So
Mm-mm.
that's another. There's a
I
whole
watched
nother
that
thing.
show, honey. I could not.
I want a tiny house on the beach, but on the West Coast, because the East Coast be having too many hurricanes. I want me a tiny house on the West Coast.
I want a bigger house just so that I can have more room away from my wild kids. I a
They're gonna
tiny
find you.
house, a tiny house with them too. Nah.
Oh, I couldn't do it with a big family, even though I love when they get creative when it's like more than like two or three people in the
And they have
house.
like the little loft part up, like the upstairs joint and
They
stuff
get
like
really
that.
creative. No, I want my tiny house to be like my guest, my beach house, my home away from home. And my kids can't go to that. Fuck y'all.
So then it ain't like like you. So you ain't gonna be living there. You gonna like vacation there and go there.
I'm a vacationer and I'm gonna rent it out on Airbnb.
Oh, but then that's different. I thought you meant like a small house to live in. Like that's your permanent residence.
I could though if it was just JT and I really could.
Mm-mm. I
I
couldn't.
really love tiny houses. They have a tiny. This is so off topic. They have a tiny house company, and is it Jack Stafford? I want to say.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. And they have some really nice ones. You can get them custom made. I follow them on Facebook too.
I seen an episode where they built one on like a little rig so that you can hook it up on the back of your truck and take it so they can
Mm-hmm.
travel around the world. It's kind of like an RV, but like you can dock it and chill for a while.
Yes.
I don't have time. No, I'm not doing all that. I just.
The tiny house I want is made out of two of those public storage containers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an episode. It has my dream tiny house in it, but yeah, girl.
I'm learning something new about you, I swear, every week. This joint want to live in a tiny house.
I
Well, look,
do.
Chatty Patty listeners, I need y'all to start donating to Shay's tiny house future. Like, go ahead and send her some donations so that by the time we retire, she can get her tiny house.
Tiny house. debt free living, and then it's just gonna be like, where's Shay going this month? Oh,
I'm here for the
there
debt
she's
free
at.
living, just not in a tiny house. I think that's just my personality. Like, I just am one of them people that I love to be around my family. I love to be around my friends, but like, I also need my space. It's times where I just don't want to hear nobody. I don't want to see nobody. And in a tiny house, I feel like you're going to hear people breathing all day. And I would be agitated. Like, I just couldn't imagine. Like,
I
please
can
give me
see
my
that.
space. That's crazy.
So, do you? I feel like I'm going back to the conversation about bills
Hmm.
because I remember. I mean, I guess I'm already talking about it. So,
Uh-oh.
when I was in my early 20s, I had a car repossessed or whatever.
It happens
Um,
more often than you think, honestly.
oh, for sure. I can name 10 people off the top of my head who shit got repossessed.
Right.
But, so, I needed a car still. So I had a little money saved up, which don't really make no sense. I had some money saved up, but wasn't paying on my car. But, I was like 23, I think, at the time. So whatever. So I
Hmm.
went to the auction and I got me this little bullshit car, and it was raggedy. This car was the fuck a mess. But I made that bitch last for like a year and a half, 2 years. I didn't have a car note.
That's good.
Girl, have you ever lived without a car note?
Yes, and then I totaled my damn car.
Ain't that how it always happens?
I was so mad. Like, literally, when I paid off that car, I was so hyped. I was like, yo, this is gonna be extra money to go towards bills. Or just like, at the time, I only had one kid. We was living at the apartment, so like, I was like, yo, in this thing. And what happens? Woo, total. And here you go with a new car note. How you doing? Like, I
How
was
long did you
so
go
pissed.
without the car note?
I want to say like a year and a half.
Girl, see? So I remember my father, and I know for a fact that he feels differently now. But
Hmm.
at one point in my life, he was saying like, "Oh, well, you're always gonna have a car note. That's unavoidable, nigga.
It's
It's
not.
avoidable as fuck. Like
Hell
you don't
yeah.
have to have a car note for the rest of your life. If you want a new car all the
Right.
time, then sure. Me personally, I give no fucks about cars. I just want my gas to be low, and I want it to get me from point A to point B.
Right.
That's it. Like I have very, very, like, I guess, low standards when it comes to cars.
Right.
Um,
So that's a bill that you never have to worry about being excessive. Like, I'm gonna have to pay these hundreds and hundreds of dollars
no, I won't.
forever. Like, no.
I went into the car dealership and I was just like, I'm not paying no more than this a month. So, and
Tell
all
me,
I want
tell me
is
what
a
this
backup
fits.
camera. So make it happen.
Let me know what I can get with this.
That's it. So, like, yeah. And once this car is paid off, I'm not getting a new car. Like,
That is my prayer, that I can keep this vehicle once the car note is done. That I will be accident free, and the fools in this horrible area that can't drive around us on the highway will stay away from my paid off vehicle. I pray.
mm-mm.
But I feel like it's just like your vehicle is a magnet to whether it's
Yes.
accidents or like some kind of mechanical problems. It's like as soon as you pay it off, all hell breaks loose. Like, I feel like it does. But I'm gonna pray over my baby, because
JT was nearing the end of his car payments, and he totaled the fuck out of that car, or someone totaled the fuck out of it for him.
that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's depressing. So speaking of people like couples and stuff and bills and stuff, you think Tony Braxton gonna go in on that Birdman Lil Wayne, or you think they splitting that bill, or you think
Oh,
that's gonna be a personal bill that he gonna have to pay off?
I
Obviously,
feel
I'm joking because I know it's like business finances and your personal finances. I'm sure that's separate money, but it's just funny, like a situation.
I feel like both of them. I mean, like, Tony Braxton has filed bankruptcy twice,
Yeah, for sure she
so
has.
like, I just don't see the financial gain on any end in that situation, to be honest.
But
So
Birdman is worth like 180 million, and Tony Braxton is worth like 10. So I mean, it's a come up for her. Like,
oh,
even I don't know how
I
much.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I did a little Google, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much Birdman owes Wayne. I don't know. I didn't look
Is
into
it
that
going to come
number.
from him though, or is
I
it going
don't
to
know.
come
I think it's
from?
going to come from like the actual, like the business, so, which is
Oh,
different.
then
Like
that
your
means. he's still good.
Yeah, he's still gonna be caking. Like, I was thinking of like celebrities where like maybe one makes more than the other, like Candy Burris from from Escape and Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know why
Hmm.
people address Candy as just from being Real Housewives of Atlanta. She literally is from Escape and then
Cause they
was on Real,
90s babies.
for sure, and they don't know no better. But like her and Todd, like Todd's like what, a producer, not even a producer, he's like a production manager or something like that. And Candy out here worth like 35 mil. So it's like, I wonder if he came in a relationship with any debt. Like, I don't know that. I don't know if they really discussed it on the show, but
Well, they definitely discussed that prenup, so
oh, for sure.
it don't matter because whatever the hell he came in with
And
is
that's
what the
if you
hell he's
leave, that's
leaving.
what you're gonna be. She is one that is serious about her money. Like
Yeah.
watching the show, like even when I was watching an interview with Escape this
Yes.
week, like she
Which
is
was a hot
one.
mess.
Yeah, like it seemed like they still not 100% on one page, but they trying to put up a good
It
united
was
front.
cringy. Oh,
Yeah. I was like, y'all still got some underlying issues. Even Jermaine Dupri seemed like he was kind of off. Like he ain't really want to be there. He like, I'm just gonna let them talk. Like let them do
yeah.
what they
But
do.
didn't let them talk.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, that's funny. They do got a prenup, so kind of just like, I mean, that's cool. Like, I mean,
I love you, but this
but
dotted line though.
right. She about her business. She's like, look, these bills. This is what it's gonna be.
So my question, to go back to the meme that I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
let's say B Dub started making like 200,000.
Hmm.
Would you still expect things to be split 50-50, or would you expect for him to take the majority of the bills on?
Well, and I'm still working.
Yeah.
Um. So I wouldn't expect him to take any of my personal bills. Like that's just me. Like I will remain still paying my car note or whatever. But like maybe I would be like, maybe you should just put a little bit extra on the mortgage, or like some of the joint bills, just because it'll free up some of my money. And I'm sure he will be with it. Like he's not selfish or whatever with money, and I don't really think I am either. So no, I wouldn't expect him to take over like majority of the bills. Like, all right, you need to pay the whole mortgage, you need to do this, and like, yeah, I just would be like, just could you put a little bit more than 50% in that joint just to ease me up a little bit? But I was still, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's a pride thing, but I just want to feel like I'm pulling my weight and I'm putting in what the fuck I'm putting. I don't want nobody to ever have no leverage to say they taking care of me, or like, I ain't doing what the hell she's supposed to do. Like, no.
I I I love you, but I just would be like, yeah, you got all of that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, boo. Like, what the fuck? If I make these little coins and you in that, in a little different, a totally different, a couple different
Tax brackets.
tax bracket, you got it, pimp. Like, when I see women who say that, like, oh, if you split your bills with your husband, your significant other, you got a roommate. My question is always, well, how much do y'all both make? Because if y'all both make the same amount, are you really having this man take on all of his bills, your bills, and y'all joint bills? Because then, like, what does he have left over for himself? What does he have left over for date nights and y'all
Like, are you
children?
then are you
And
fitting that bill? Then is what I'm thinking.
right,
Like, are you going to pay for all like the outings? Are you paying for all the groceries and the child care if you got kids, or like whatever comes up? Like, where's your money going to?
because some of the women that I have seen make these comments, I know they life. And I'm just like, well, bitch, you would be lucky if somebody came and put
Oop,
200 on what you have
oop.
going
Speak on
on,
it.
to be honest. So I'm not knocking anyone, because when I started seeing those memes, I realized, like, but prior to JT, obviously I paid everything, but when he came on board, like, because he's in the military, we had that basic housing allowance. So I'm like, oh, I'm talking shit when technically his employment is taking care of where we live.
But
You
this
know
is
what
the
I mean?
thing: them people that are talking shit, are they married? Are they currently in a situation where they're splitting bills? These are probably all single motherfuckers talking about what the fuck they gonna do and what they ain't gonna do and what they expect a man to do, and where are they by themselves doing it themselves. So, and that is no shade to anybody that's single. Please trust and believe it is not shady. But like, I just hate when people speak so adamantly about something that you, not that you haven't experienced, but like, you can't be so like, oh nah, this dude gonna pay this, because life is gonna smack you right in the face, and it's gonna have a hilarious way of giving you humble pie to be like, you know what, it ain't gonna work out like that. Like,
That's a fact. Because,
so
like, yeah, I was about to get real personal.
don't do it, don't do it.
But yeah, like, I don't know. It's like I said, it's just the craziest thing for me because I know I don't make a whole bunch of money. I'm doing well, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But like JT, if you know, BAH aside, if if what came into the bank every week or
Mm-hmm.
every 2 weeks or whatever was all that he had, and I was like, yeah, pay all the bills, he would not have anything.
At all. He'd be like, well, can I have a couple
So
dollars to get something to eat? Like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry out here.
yeah, so I'm for me it's just like it's not a roommate thing, it's a what are we doing as a couple so that we can sustain the lifestyle that we want to have.
Unless they out here talking about they dating some pro athlete or somebody with millions,
Right.
that's the only way that that would make sense. But if you dealing with a regular person that's out here like us, and like, even if you're on the higher end of it, it's still just like, so wait a minute, they gonna pay everything, like, and so with your money, would you're not paying any bills, like you're just taking your money for your own personal stuff and going shopping and getting your hair done and stuff like that, like, and that just doesn't seem fair to me. And like, eventually a dude is gonna get tired of that. Like, I don't know, that's me personally. I just feel like somebody gets tired. They feel like they being used after a while. Like, I understand, like, some women have this, and some men too. I don't know where they at, but like, they have this view, like, okay, the man is supposed to be the provider, which is true, but it's like, it's the real world. Like, yeah, the man's supposed to be the provider, but at the same time, like, my
Now,
job ain't provide me the salary to do this. Shit.
if my man has the resources to provide, I'm gonna let his ass.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, I just
You're not gonna force him to put him in a position that it's gonna end up backfiring, because it's going, like, he gonna be burnt out and he probably end up leaving your ass. Be like, yo, he gonna cuss you out. What are you doing? What are you bringing to the table? Like, you better be A1 on everything else, since you ain't paying no bills. And look, you better be the best damn mom. You be the best damn whatever you doing, because like, if you ain't paying nothing, no, I don't know.
so maybe I should start reading the comments of these posts so I can understand where these women are coming from. Because I never really understand it. I'm like, are you just talking about the rent? Are you talking about every bill in the house? Like, how does this work? I don't know.
Right,
Because if they're talking about like rent or mortgages, then I guess then that would be what JT and I are doing. But if
right.
it's like he needs to pay everything, and I don't know, like, and I keep all my money, then I'm just like, oh, well, then y'all definitely not dating a nigga from Suitland, because
What's the logic in that though? Like, it has to be that they're aiming for the stars. Like, because I don't get it. Like, not with no regular people. Not with the regular people that I know. Even the ones that's getting paid good money. Like, I just don't see how that's gonna work.
yeah. Well, in short, folks,
Do what works for
for
you,
you
boo.
for sure. Yeah.
Hopefully we, was able to discuss some things and maybe shed some light on some situations that could help your situation that you maybe not have thought of. And that's what we here for, to chat on some things and get it.
So tea time, tea time.
Oh, let me stir it. Let me stir it. Ding 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 ding.
So on the internet this past weekend,
Mm-hmm.
I saw this video of Mr. Cat Williams
Mm-hmm.
roasting this lady on the radio. Now, I love Cat Williams. I think he's hilarious. He is a Virgo.
Oh,
And I
he's had
have an
some
affinity
struggles.
for Virgos,
He's
but
been
he
having some
definitely
struggles.
has had some struggles, you know. And so the first video I saw, it was just of him roasting her. So I was like, well, what happened to for them to even get there? Because it just seemed like,
Well, he was going in like because I haven't seen it, so like he was like really going in like tough.
oh, you haven't
Pause.
seen it?
Nah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it seemed like, well, now that I've seen the full video,
Hmm.
basically he made some comments that she didn't agree with, and it just seemed like she was kind of throwing some underhanded like shade. If
Hmm.
you watch the full interview, I noticed it because when I saw the shorter clip, it seemed like he was coming for her.
Uh
But
huh.
when I watched the whole thing, like it was early on in the clip, and she had said something like, "Yeah, because you've been in and out of jail or something like that," and it didn't have anything to do with anything,
Um.
and he didn't say anything. So by the time they got to the video that I saw originally, it was like, okay, I get it.
Right.
Like basically, the clip I saw, she had asked him what he liked to cook for his kids, and he was saying, I got a bunch of kids, so I got to do this, I got to do that, blah 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 blah. And so
Hmm.
then he was like, well, what what are you good at cooking? This bitch said broccoli, and after that, it was, I mean,
Oh, whoa, what? That was
right,
her answer for real, really?
dead ass. She said broccoli. He said, bitch, broccoli. Well, he didn't say bitch, but he was just like, what? I just sat here and gave you a full course menu, and you talking about broccoli. And so from there,
He went
she was
in.
talking about his hair. He was talking about her wig,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it definitely was a wig. He talked about all the glitter she had on her face and da, da, da. But anywho, so the comments that led to all of this, though, um, he had mentioned that he basically said that Tiffany Haddish, we don't know
I
if
saw this
she,
part.
yeah, we don't really know if she's truly like funny, because Girls Trip, while it was a successful movie, she did really well in it. It was a script that she didn't write.
Right.
And he was saying like she hasn't gone on any tours to prove that she can joke for an hour or so. So I was trying to post a poll on our IG story, but for whatever reason, the poll option is not showing up.
Oh, they hate.
So, yeah. So I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on Tiffany Haddish.
So I just feel like it's different levels of funny. Like, yeah, we can't say if she's been a stand-up comedian, which I thought she said that earlier in her career she did stand-up comedy. I mean, I don't
That's
know if it was funny, but I swear, like, no, actually, I've seen a Tiffany Haddish stand-up
She
comedy,
had
like a
one on
special.
Showtime this
Oh, I'm tripping.
within the
Yeah,
last year.
right. I mean, and, but to go back to what I was saying, I feel like it's different levels of funny. It's some people that stand up is not their thing, but that doesn't make them not funny. They might be, funny with the improv shit, like, like a D-Ray or something like that. Or like maybe they're just like funny as hell as an actor, like in their movies, which that is also a different skill set because we've seen people who might be stand-up comedians and then they go to a movie and it don't translate. So I just feel like she's funny to me, but I mean, maybe not on a stand-up comedian thing, but like I'm trying to remember, but I remember seeing her stand up, and I feel like I laughed. I feel like I laughed. I don't know.
So I remember I actually watched the special at your house,
Oh, were we
and
drinking? Why don't I not remember?
because it wasn't that funny. I mean, I'm
Oh,
just
it
gonna keep it
wasn't.
a buck. I mean, it was funny, but it wasn't that funny. Like it
Did I laugh?
wasn't.
I feel like I was laughing,
I don't feel like you were laughing. Like when we're watching something that's funny, we are
like in
dying.
tears, right?
Yes. I don't feel like anybody in the room was like laughing. I feel like, there were parts that were funny, but then other parts, and it could have just been us because a lot of time when we're drinking, we're talking. So we might not have been paying as much attention, but
Hmm.
I just didn't feel like it was that funny.
Hilarious,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't, but I also, because he mentioned Kevin Hart, I also didn't think Kevin Hart was funny until his special Seriously Funny, and I'm gonna say that was like 2 or 3 specials in.
Oh wow.
So I didn't think Kevin Hart was funny, and even now I'm over Kevin Hart because I feel like it's the same kind of shit. Like it's not new. It's the same like Kevin Hart antics, and I feel so bad because I like Tiffany Haddish. She seems like, as a person, she seems cool, but she kind of gives me those vibes. Like, I'm hoping that we just don't get Girls Trip Tiffany Haddish for every movie or every special moving forward, because I kind of feel like that's what we get for Kevin Hart.
But is it? I feel like every comedian to a certain extent, besides Dave Chappelle, is the same way. Like they have their bag and they stay in that bag. Like, and the ones that are like really out there and super public, people get tired of it because they're just like, all right, well, these are the same kind of jokes. Like I feel like everybody kind of has their style and their lane, and like most comedians do though. Like even with Cat Williams, like the perm, like the like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always like the pimp stuff, like blah blah. Like he's done other stuff, but like he kind of has that kind of lane. Then you have people like, you know, Mike Epps, like he's gonna fry your ass, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he has that kind of lane. But and Tiffany Haddish is like the over the top extra, like I don't know.
I feel you. Like Cat Williams, his older specials to this day still crack me up. Like I've
Oh
never
yeah, they
seen it
definitely
before.
funny as hell.
Like it's something, I just think he's genuinely funny.
Right. As a person, like you could just sit
Right.
down with him and like he'll probably be funny as hell. Like I feel like the same way with like Martin or whatever. Like his old shit, like I would die.
But Mike Epps, I don't like all of his specials. I like him more in scripted roles than I
Yeah,
do as like
as a
doing
stand
a
up comedian.
special.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So, but then like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, I get what you're saying, like being in your same bag, like Chris Rock. Like
Hmm.
Chris Rock does a lot of like, he ties politics a lot into his specials,
Hmm.
and I don't know, I like his specials. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the last one as much as I've liked some of his older ones,
All right.
but I feel like I get different things from them in their specials. I don't feel like Chris Rock plays the same role when he's in movies. The
Right.
same with like Jamie Foxx or um, even Martin is not always over the top funny in all of his movie roles. And
Right.
so Tiffany Haddish just came, like, not just came out because she's been out here working for a minute, but she's just been like mainstream in the last year. So
Right.
I may just be speaking too soon, but from what I've seen from like Girls Trip and what I'm seeing in these commercials for like Night School, and there's another one where she has like a white husband or something.
It's around the same type
It
of
just
role that
seems,
she playing.
exactly, and it's just like, and then it reminds me, she literally reminds me of a female version of Kevin Hart, and I, maybe it is like you said, it's just a lot of them, and they're just on everything, and it's just a lot. But I am just, I be exhausted looking at them two niggas. Like,
But I feel like this, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. When it comes to comedy, you have like, unless you can reinvent yourself, you have a short lifespan. You look at comedians like when Mike Epps was hot, or like, you know, other comedians that was super, super like lit at the time, and then they didn't fell off, and like what they doing? They ain't on no shows really. They ain't doing no, like if they do doing stuff, they doing like the small little clubs and stuff. So I just feel like Kevin Hart has been able to reinvent himself to like make it continue to make itself relevant. And like, yes, it's like obnoxious. I feel like it's the same when like when Beyonce was first on her daggone solo career, and she was every damn way, and people was just like, I'm tired of hearing Beyonce. I'm tired of seeing her on
I
like
didn't like her then.
on commercials. Like she was like literally everywhere. She was on 106 and Park. She was on daggone L'Oreal commercials. She was like every damn where. Movies. Like, so I just feel like they're trying to continue to, I guess, while I'm hot, let me get all these coins while I'm popping, because it might be a time where ain't nobody checking for Kevin Hart, and I ain't gonna be able to sell out no damn arena or stadium or whatever. So I get it. Like it's annoying because they're everywhere, but speaking from a business and from their point of view, they like, look, I don't give a damn. If y'all gonna continue to buy it, I'm gonna continue to put it out so I can collect these checks.
I just, I feel like a lot of what Cat Williams was saying was hating, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to seem like I'm agreeing with him.
Right.
But I feel like Kevin Hart is funny. Like when he does things that aren't stand up and that aren't those movies,
Mm-hmm.
he's like genuinely funny. Like that little thing
You
he
said when
does
it's
on
not
YouTube.
stand up and it's not movies.
Yes, for real.
So
Like when
what
he
can he
does that,
do?
this shit, like when he's on YouTube and he does that little thing when he be sitting in the ice or whatever,
Oh, that is so
or
funny.
when
Or
that,
the little Uber joints, like he playing an old
yes,
man. That's funny as
yes,
hell.
and I don't feel like he's as over the top. I feel like Kevin Hart is funny, but I feel like they put him in these roles. He's the shortest nigga on set, so they have the short jokes, and it's just like they put
It's
him in that role.
predictable.
And I don't want Tiffany Haddish to always be the ghetto girl.
Yeah, the extra loud ghetto girl on
That's
every
all I'm
movie.
saying. It's just like I don't. I'm over that.
But it's like
already.
the same thing with, well, she's not a comedian, but like with Gabrielle Union and certain actresses, like they it's like once you play like one or two of the same type of roles, they typecast you. Like she was always like the bitchy black girl, or like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they kind of put people in these
But
same
when you're a
roles.
comedian, that typecast, that
It will screw
universe is
you
even
over.
smaller.
Yeah.
Like Gabrielle Union has now, in the beginning, I felt like they always put her in that kind of role, but she's
But
been
she's
able
definitely
to
branched
branch
out.
out.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
she has a career that's a lot, it stretches like over 20 years, I think, at this point.
And
But
still
like,
relevant and looking bomb.
oh, she looks so fucking good.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, I am not condoning what Calvin said. I think he has a right to his own opinion. I do feel like a lot of it came off as hate, because I feel like Tiffany Haddish is definitely doing her thing. I'm not knocking it. I just feel like from the one special I saw, and I've only seen one, from everything I've heard about her, she's been out here grinding for years to get to where she's at. So I'm not taking that away from her. I am just hoping that we don't get Tiffany Haddish and Girls Trip and all these different movies, because I'm excited. I'm definitely going to go see Night School. I saw Uncle Drew. She was in that. I like the show that she's on with Tracy Morgan, but her ass ain't super duper extra on, not as much anyway, on that show. She even had me reconsidering breaking my I'm not ever going to go see a Tyler Perry movie in the movie theaters vow, because she got a movie coming out with him or whatever. Like, I like her. I just don't want Kevin Hart, the female version.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that Kevin Hart isn't. Kevin Hart is one of the richest fucking comedians ever. He's doing his thing. I just prefer Kevin Hart when he's just being like
toned down a little
funny.
bit.
Yeah, like
he's not on 10. He's like a 7.
Yeah, like I feel like when he does the stuff on YouTube, he's still funny without being as extra as like
Real House Husbands. Oh my god.
Actually, I really like that show.
Dog, like after the first season, I couldn't deal. Like, no, the first season was funny, like, because it was something different. It was like funny as hell, like the whole, like all of that, like it cracked me up. But after a while, I was just like, all right.
That's how I feel about his stand-ups at this point. I'm just like, the last one that came out, I kind of was like, oh,
which was the last one? Because I feel like I'm always cracking up laughing at his stand-ups. Like,
my baby daddy said that he went and saw him a couple of months ago, though, and he was like, nah, you wanna, like, you'll be back on the Kevin Hart team. He was saying that joint was funny as shit. So
see, me and a group of my friends, we were supposed to go, and it just didn't pan out or whatever. Like the current tour that he's on now, it just didn't pan out to get the tickets. But child, I hope he come out with a DVD or put it on Netflix or something.
You know it'll be out. I ain't even worried about it.
Right. We definitely took a hard left turn from bills to comedy.
Well, that was the tea. You know, the tea of the week.
You dig, and I appreciate y'all for sipping with us, sipping and chatting with us.
Was there any other tea? I feel like this wasn't a good week with the tea.
No, I don't think anything else really.
Yeah.
No.
That's all we got.
That's all we got. Well, we appreciate you for tuning in.
Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter at the Chatty Pattys. Comment on our posts. Let us know how we're doing, what you want to hear more of, less of. You can send us emails to
thechattypattys@yahoo.com.
Yes.
And stop being lurkers. Let me say something. Interact with us. You be seeing our posts. We be asking questions. Don't just be sitting there looking. Don't be looking at our Insta stories and all that stuff like that. And y'all ain't saying nothing. Right. Comment. Interact with us. We not gonna bite. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then spread the word.
Yep. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And we appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next. Well, we won't see shit, but we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.